All right, welcome back, everyone. We are so grateful to be here with you for week three of Love Yourself Well series. If this is your first time joining us, I'm Michelle Rowland, and this is Amy Krenicki. We're holistic health practitioners and regenerative wellness coaches. And this series is all about reconnecting with yourself physically, emotionally, and energetically to create deep and lasting renewal.
Yes. And over the past 2 weeks, we've explored self love as a foundation for healing and how detoxing isn't just about the physical body, but it's also emotional, energetic, and mental. So, tonight we're going to dive into something truly transformative, the heart body connection, and how love is one of the most powerful healing sources that we have.
And this is going to be my favorite part tonight, or one of my favorite parts. But before we jump into tonight's discussion, Amy is going to guide us through a short, heart centered grounding practice to help us fully arrive in this space.
Hmm. Cool. So before we start, I just love when we all tune in together and ground into this space. So I'm going to be using this is my crystal bowl and it's attuned to the heart chakra. So just ease in and see where it resonates for you. Um, this is one of the tools I use for during my Reiki and sound healing sessions. So it's really beautiful. So go ahead and close down your eyes. And if you feel comfortable, and place your hand over your heart and take a big deep breath in and fully exhale. And feeling the weight of your body settling into your sit bones. Feeling held. As you inhale, imagine breathing in warmth, love, and compassion. And as you exhale, release any tension, stress, self judgment. As the sound moves through you, imagine it clearing any heaviness, sadness, anything that your heart is holding on to, the lower vibration. And you can feel your heartbeat syncing with this vibration, inviting in more love, more ease, and openness. I'd love for you to bring to mind a moment where you truly felt loved. Maybe that was by yourself, by another person. Maybe it was a guide, God, universe, source. And let that love expand through your heart and let it flow to every cell of your body. And notice how your body feels when you're focusing on just love. So, as we move forward tonight, I want you to hold on to this feeling because love isn't something that we just receive, it's something we create and cultivate inside of ourselves. And take a big deep breath in. When you're ready, fluttering your eyes open and coming back into the space.
That sound always resonates right in my upper chest. I love that. This is what love does. It shifts your entire energy. Studies have shown that when we feel love, appreciation, or gratitude, our heart rhythms become more coherent, meaning they sync up in a smooth, more balanced way. So when we're stressed, fearful, or in self criticism, our heart rhythms become chaotic, affecting everything from digestion to immunity. So love is literally medicine to us, right? Um, what emotions did you feel during that exercise? How did your body react just to that small exercise we did? Does anyone want to put anything in the chat? How did you feel? Any emotions come up for you? Relaxed?
Awesome.
Yeah, feeling love for ourselves can relax our body, right? Bring that parasympathetic nervous system down, relaxes us. Peaceful, yes.
Relaxed at peace. Awesome.
Yeah, and how we love ourselves. That's the standard for how we love others and allow others to love us. If we neglect our own needs and dismiss our worth or fail to care for ourselves, we send out that silent message to the world, right? This is what I believe I deserve.
And there's something powerful. Here's something powerful. The people in our lives are only capable of loving us to the depth that they love themselves. So if someone has not learned to honor their own body, their own emotions, and their well being, they will struggle to honor yours. So if we want deep, healthy, fulfilling relationships, we first must cultivate that in ourselves. So think about someone in your life, past or present, and how did they love themselves? Did they honor their needs? Did they speak kindly to themselves? Did they take care of of their body? And how does that reflect in how they love others? It's a good reflection.
Mhm. I'm sure we've all have someone in our life that we can, or that comes to mind immediately. And it's usually someone that hasn't treated us well. And we can see just through their treatment, it brings awareness to us on how they feel about themselves on the inside and the capacity that they have within them to love you and why their behaviors are the way they are towards you. I have many examples of that in my life, just growing up in home. I mean, we're all fallible, right? And I think, as children too, we tend to put our parents and our caretakers and those in authority on this pedestal of being perfect. And when they fall short of that, there's that wounding instead of looking at the person as being a wounded person operating from that wounded space. So, many of us have been conditioned to be our own worst critics in that area. We push ourselves, we expect perfection, we get frustrated when we don't meet unrealistic expectations. Um, but let me ask you this: if you spoke to a child the way that you sometimes speak to yourself, how would they feel?
Mm.
And that same, instance, when we can take ourselves back to being a child and that same thing, that those interactions that we had with adults and um, everyone's operating from those unhealed traumas and the level that they love themselves.
Exactly. So the words and energy that we direct towards ourselves are either healing us or harming us, just like the food that we put into our bodies. So self compassion is one of the most underrated but most powerful forms of self love. So the ability to say that I'm doing my best and that's enough. It's the ability to hold space for ourselves in the same way that we would for someone that we love. Um, so if you want to write in the chat, what is one way I can be gentler with myself this week? You know, when I'm working with clients and when I'm working with myself, even, I always tell them like the the negative vibe that you're giving yourself for not being perfect in your protocol is way worse than the fish that you ate for dinner or whatever, like
Yes.
that is hard for us to wrap our heads around.
And if you're going to eat something that you're going to beat yourself up over, you should shift that to being thankful that you are eating what you are eating about to eat. Find a way to bless the the food that you're getting ready to eat, that even if it's something that's going to be you're going to end up beating yourself up over later. Make sure that you are, whatever you are doing, you are blessing whatever you are putting into your body, regardless if it's something that isn't bad for you, because it is that energy.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what we are ingesting,
Right.
change it.
If we're gonna have chocolate, we're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
gonna love it and cherish every bite of it. And, you know, it doesn't, if we are hating what we're doing when we're putting it in our body, like that's the energy that we're putting in our body.
Is hate. Yeah. My son's girlfriend made chocolate chip cookies the other night, and I came home late and I saw she had some cooling on the counter, and I was like, oh, I love it, you know. And yeah, I ate it
Mhm.
and loved it.
Thank you, Kristen. I am enough. I love that.
Yes, I am. You are enough. You are enough. Yeah, and that's, bringing the heart body connection into the detox journey. So let's bring that back into our detox journey. When we detox from love, when we withhold kindness from ourselves, when we hold on to resentment, When we operate from fear or lack, it impacts our physical body. Stress hormones rise, the digestion slows down, and then healing is blocked.
Mhm. And on the other hand, when we lean into love, we nourish our bodies. When we nourish our bodies, when we shift our self talk from, um, we also practice gratitude, and the entire system begins to regulate. So self love isn't just emotional, it's deeply psychological. So, this is why detoxing isn't just about food, it's about emotions, energy, and mindset. So, maybe what is one thing that you can release this week that's been weighing on your heart? Whether it's a thought, a habit, or an emotional pattern.
Mine's my ex-husband, since that has come up this week.
Mm.
And it's a pattern. It's obviously an emotional pattern that I'm still hanging on to that I'm like, oh my goodness. Um, yeah, I'm gonna be working on that one this week for sure.
I I have previously had a tendency to watch my words. Um, not believe in myself and convince myself that not to do things because why bother,
Mm.
right? So like why bother for myself if I mean, who really cares? Yeah. Um yeah, does anybody really care? Like am I really I don't feel like I care right now, so why should anybody else? I don't know.
Hmm.
Mm. Yeah, that resonates. Yeah. Um,
And that can be a deep emotional pattern when we don't care for ourselves if we think that nobody cares. It's I don't care for myself.
mhm. I definitely had that repeating thought for a very long time. Like, I really truly believed that no one cared about me. And what I was missing was that I just didn't care about myself.
Hmm.
And so that's how I was letting people treat me. So it wasn't until I started finding this self love and cultivating it that I cared about what I put in my body. I cared about the man that I was with. I cared, like, you just start caring a little more and a little more when you just start seeing yourself for who you really are. Like, we're all, you know,
And then you connect that to the mind, because that's once you start seeing that and recognizing that in your heart, then that the mind kind of follows with it. And it can go the other way around too when we're changing our thoughts, even though we don't feel loved or happy, but we're, affirming that every day. We're making those post-it notes in the mirror, that I love you, you are worthy. We're saying these things and we don't believe them yet. But once those things start to marry together, that heart and mind connection, when you truly start loving yourself in other ways and baby steps, whether it's through your detoxification journey, changing your lifestyle, your health, your eating habits, and loving yourself in these little ways, then you're shifting that energy and then that mind and heart connection turn on. And you're just like, I have standards. I am special. I am worthy, to set up these walls around me and not let people abuse me, not let people push me around. I do have a voice. I do love myself. Super important.
Yeah, I mean, I say those things that I just said, but yeah, you know, knowing the history is a little bit better because I grew up believing that when something went wrong, that you just try to kill yourself. Like that's just the answer. So, just being down and thinking those thoughts for a few minutes is such a huge, it's up a way higher than immediately going to the bottom rung of the ladder and just being like, well, there's just no reason for me to even be here, because that's what I would have thought before. But because I have learned to love myself, now it's just I start having little thoughts that aren't really serving me. But it's
Hmm.
nothing like the thoughts of like just going down into the depths of hell, basically, like where I would have been in the past. So I just I say that because I want people to realize that, like, yeah, the thoughts that I had before were so negative and so like it was hard to come back from that, right? I couldn't come back from that in a few minutes or even a day. Like it would take me days to come back from that even, and it could be something like just somebody said to me like, "Oh, you're an idiot," or what are you stupid?" Or, like they could have just said something to me and I cared so much about what they thought about me that it didn't I just like it's the end of the world, literally, like the end of this paradigm. So I just wanted to be gone. And now it's, oh, well, why am I even bothering? That's a big difference, right? And then I ask that question, and guess what? I'll get answers. This is why you're bothering. You're on a mission. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. So yeah, it's really great to be real, because we I think we all have those kind of thoughts. And so anyway, I just want to add that because yeah, I was in a like I went to a bad place, but I didn't stay there.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I love that. I was going to say something and now I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, it's just in the conditioning, that's the hard part is just the conditioning. And I realize now, um, and more so, gosh, even like this past week where I've had, self-doubt creep into my mind about my purpose and my mission and what I'm doing in regenerative health and as a practitioner. And it crept in on me and I found myself questioning what I was doing or if I was even good enough to do this work. And I realized that that came from my mother's trying to even the field out at home. And this is another growth area for me because for the longest time I thought, that my mother didn't love me as much or care about me as much, but it was her way of coping with the playing field at home and for her to diminish my light so that my sister could shine because my sister always felt like she was in my shadows or she wasn't, she didn't measure up to me. And we're complete opposites. I mean, um, we're complete opposites. And for my mother just didn't know how else to handle that other than, she didn't know how to encourage my sister in her strengths in her own way and mine and mine. She knew how to just even out the playing field. We're just going to tear Michelle down a little bit, bring her down to the level to make everyone comfortable. And I was always taught to not, if she was asking a question, to get an answer for some. I was always the one raising my hand. I always had the answer. I always knew something. And she always, Michelle, you don't always have to have let your sister answer, let your brother, like, quit acting like you're a know-it-all. That was what my brother and sister. Oh, she's a walking encyclopedia. She's a know-it-all. Blah blah. And so I was always told to let your brother and sister let them shine. Basically, is what she let them have the stage. Let them. And I was conditioned to believe that I had to silence myself and not speak up. And I carried that, I mean, gosh, even in school, I never really participated. And I became shy, so to speak. I just became quiet and more observant in my life and my relationships. And um, I'm just now finding my voice and I'm going to shine in my own light or try to get past those conditionings and shine in my own light and speak my truth and still find ways to let other people shine and be their authentic self, around me as well, without feeling like I have to diminish who I am and diminish my light to make other people comfortable. So that's another area that I'm working in. We're all, a work in progress here, and I'm so glad to be a part of this and helping you guys to lead you guys into a better space. Anyway, does anyone else have anything else to add? You want to share? No? Well, as we wrap up tonight, let's just take one more moment to integrate everything that we've explored. And Amy's going to play the heart bowl again for us as we settle into this final practice.
Yeah. So let's put your hand back on your heart. Going to do the same thing. We're going to breathe in love and breathe out anything that doesn't serve you. Closing down your eyes and focusing on the love in your heart. With each vibration, feel yourself absorbing the frequency of love and healing. Know that you are deeply worthy, deeply loved, and your heart is always guiding you towards healing. I'd love for you to whisper to yourself, I am worthy of love. I am enough as I am. My heart is open to healing. So this week, let this vibration stay with you. Let it remind you to check in with your heart and to lead with love and to nourish yourself inside and out. And take a big, deep breath in. Coming back into the room. I want you to remember to drink lots of water tonight. The frequencies can really shake things up for you and help release.
Well, guys, next week is our final session in the Love Yourself Well series, and it will be a powerful one. It is Nourish Your Heart and Body Practices for Lasting Renewal. So, we'll be diving into tangible and nourishing practices that support your heart and body for long term wellness. So, you can sustain everything that we've been working on and keeping this momentum going.
And if you have been feeling the shifts from this series and you're ready to go deeper, our Waist Loss for Longevity Gain cohort starts next Friday, February 28th. And this is where we're going to put everything together that we've covered here into practice. So, together in a supportive space with step by step guidance to help you detox, reset, and nourish your body for a long time vitality.
Yes. And so next week, we'll wrap up this series with tools that you can use right away. And for those of you who feel called to take the next step, we'd love to have you join us in the cohort for even deeper transformation.
Thank you. If you have any takeaways, we'd love to hear them in the chat or put them come off mute. And maybe one reflection to take away for this week. What's one way you can integrate more love into your daily life this week? Thanks, everybody.